Chase, the hijacker here at Condor Online. And you might see that the studio angle is a little bit different because this is indeed Games Mania. But, you know, Tom Perry, who was hosting Games Mania and doing it very well, has now, you know, he just buggered off to Denmark, you know, playing off in Legoland with, you know, Lego creatures. Who knows? I mean, people gotta work, right? So do we. Life goes on, just as the game. And, you know, I met the lovely Erin here, who was kind of like a little, like, Marty McFly type, because she knows everything about retro games and stuff like that. So I said, hey, come on here and join us in your first show. So be kind to her in the comments, all right? And I'm just letting you know, all right? We could be a little negative here online. But hey, Erin, welcome to Condor Online and Games Mania.
Hi. So yeah, my name's Erin. So I first started getting into games when I was about 12 years old or something. So when I got my first Game Boy, and that's where the love kind of kicked off. This is my first show. Obviously, I am very nervous. Another thing I wanted to say is I've done all my research here, but if anything is a bit amiss, then just let me know in the comments, and I will get back to you because I'll be watching the show back.
Yeah, be kind, rewind. I'm sure you're gonna do fine.
So yeah, the first kind of thing I wanted to talk about here was something called the North American video game crash of 1983, because this is where I feel that a lot of gaming history comes from, and a lot of the future of gaming actually comes from this big thing that happened back in the 80s and people don't really know. So I just thought it might be important.
Well, that's cool because this is where Tom left off, so it's like a continuation. Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, he started out as a guy and now he's a woman. Whoa. Hey, man, we're so modern with this transgender stuff. All right, go for it, man. I'm really interested about this because when I mentioned to him about ColecoVision, and that's when he was telling me about the crash, and I was like, what? Because I was a kid, I didn't know anything about this whole business stuff. So why don't you hook us up? What happened then?
Okay, so the video game crash is basically when there was too much going on in the market and it collapsed on itself, essentially.
Too many games, you mean?
Yeah, way too many games, too many consoles, too many bad
Was it competing companies then?
Well, there was, there was some popular companies at the time, like Atari, obviously a big name, and Coleco as well. They were also a big name at the time. So there was that element of competition, because everyone wanted to be releasing these games as fast as possible to get them out on the market, and people weren't really focusing much on the quality of games that were coming out.
No.
So although there was competition, it all kind of wasted away because none of the games coming out were any good.
It's kind of what they call oversaturation.
Yeah, oversaturation.
You know, I mean, we had all of the arcades and we had the candy shops that had the big arcade scene. So this was your first kind of like home theater, you know, before home theater became home video theater. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, so what kind of games were the ones that fell most, do you think?
Oh, okay, so when this first started building up, which was about 81, 82, Atari released a game called Pac-Man in 1982, which was based off the popular arcade game. Yeah, everyone knows that, everyone loves that. Mm-hmm. And it was meant to be this amazing release title, and it was really hyped up, but the developers released a prototype, and the prototype wasn't very good. The sounds were horrible. If you ever see gameplay of it, it's pretty bad, to be honest. Right. And it's nothing like the arcade version.
Really?
And instead of developing this game and turning it into something amazing, they wanted to push for the 1981 Christmas sales. So they just rushed it and released it unfinished, and it flopped. They actually brought out, they'd only sold something like 10 million consoles or 10,000 consoles or something, but they released 12 million copies of the game.
I can imagine how many ended up in the trash dump.
Oh, actually, there's another game called E.T. and it was
E.T. extraterrestrial E.T.
Yeah, it was based on the film.
Yeah.
And that is known as one of the worst games in gaming history, and
I can imagine.
They actually they dumped a lot of them in a big landfill.
Oh.
And they put tarmac
Poor
over it
E.T.
and stuff.
You know what? In the movie, didn't E.T. go to the landfill to try and put together the pieces of the satellite to go home?
Oh, it's foreshadowing.
That is funny. I did not know that. See
Yeah,
how great she is?
So yeah, that was a pretty bad bad thing on Atari's part. That lost a lot of the consumer trust.
Yeah.
Really, because it was like, well, we've just had 2 really awful games from you. On top of that, the ColecoVision was around.
Yeah.
It came out about 1982. The Coleco had an extension on it which allowed you to play Atari 2600 games on the console. Which
Right.
kind of make buying a 2600 a bit obsolete, because why would I spend all that money when I could just buy this sort of third-party add-on, and then I can just plug my games into it. So that was a big
I mean,
deal
what kind of
back then.
add-ons are we talking about? Are we talking about the light gun add-on?
No, this was like I can't really describe it. It's kind of like a bit of a slab, and it just slots onto the console.
It wasn't a vertical slot because
Yeah, I
it's
think
like
it was.
because at that time you're talking. Well, it was really more like in the 80s where they had top loader video. You know, they had like the kind of like you top load your one track videos. So when I had my ColecoVision in that time period, I know. I come home from school and I was, just slot my games in, whether it was like Asteroids or Missile Command and everything else like that. Of course, the game I keep talking about, Star Master, which nobody talks about, which I found on here, was with Activision. Maybe that's why nobody talks about it, because you had something to say about Activision, didn't you?
Actually, yeah, like the interesting thing about Activision is that that was founded on publishers and designers from Atari. Weren't actually getting the names put on the game, and weren't actually getting much recognition and getting paid much and stuff. So they decided they were going to quit and form their own company, third-party company, which is Activision. And that's where that comes
you know what's
from
great
now.
about this is that everything you're saying, right? We'll put these video slides up. So I got this slide right now in front of me of big Activision Star Master. Oh my God.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Did you? So when you were telling me, I don't want to sidetrack you, but when you were telling me about playing retro games, because you like playing these retro games and these consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you find, like, I don't know if it was because of Star Wars coming out in 76 or something like that, and Close Encounters and everything, but there was a whole flood of these space games.
Yeah, there was lots of
You know what I mean?
games around.
And, like, so Missile Command, Star Master, Asteroids, all that. But, like, do you remember a movie called The Last Starfighter?
No, I don't.
What? She's fired! All right, next week you must go home and watch Last Starfighter and come back. You seriously have not? This is the most amazing film from about a kid in a trailer park, right? Playing the one arcade game that's left, right? Called The Last Starfighter. And like the idea is to get, when you play the arcade games, is to get the high score.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So when you get, so this guy, he gets the high score and everything, and everybody's all watching because it's a small trailer park full of colorful characters. But the person who gets the high score gets contacted by an alien race because now you, young master, are the starfighter that could come and save the universe. And he has to go up into space, as the starfighter. It's amazing.
It sounds pretty cool.
And like, this, it's supposed to be a remake. Why be made? Please watch it for next time. I would love to hear your thoughts on Last Starfighter.
I'm going to go away and watch that.
And
Sounds
everything.
really
But,
interesting.
so I just wanted to know, did you have a fascination for space games and that kind of thing?
Not really, to be honest. I was more into like fantasy style games, I think.
What, like Zelda? Or?
Yeah, Legends of Zelda.
So RPGs.
I don't know. I'm not really like I'm very fussy with gaming, so.
Well, I was trying to show I was clever. Role playing games.
I guess role playing games. Are
Yeah,
okay.
so I mean, well, Legend of Zelda is
it's one
isn't
of
it? Like
the biggest
Smash
ones.
Bros and all that.
Smash Brothers as well. On the
Man, me and my son. That's the only game me and my son play.
Is it?
It's
on
Super Smash
the
Bros.
Switch.
Yeah, well, it started out on the Wii, then the Wii U, then the Switch, yes.
Actually, it started on the N64.
Well, did it now? She does her research. That's even before my
I think it was the
time.
N64. It could have been earlier. I
It
don't
could
know.
be. It could be. Yeah. So, okay, moving on.
Now we're actually a long way off Nintendo from here, though.
Yeah.
Because there's before Nintendo, people always think of Nintendo being one of the oldest, biggest, longest going companies, and it is, but not for video games.
Right.
They actually started out making I forgot the actual Japanese word for them, but they're these like playing cards.
Like the card captor type of cards? You know, they have the characters and
I think so.
like Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not actually sure. I've never seen them. It was back in the 1800s, so.
1800s?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
1886 or something.
What? You gotta explain.
Right.
This is why she will forever be known as McFly. But explain that, McFly.
Well, so yeah, we're talking about Nintendo. Big
I'm talking
games
about
company.
1800 game thing.
Go back to 1800s when Nintendo actually was founded. It was under a different name again. Cannot remember the name. We'll go back.
What,
to
in
that at
Japan
some
or something like that?
Yeah, it's Japanese, obviously. Like
yeah. So let me. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, right? Because this is like blowing my mind. So Nintendo was was it like a game or like a card game?
I've got no idea. I need to do
Oh, well, you need to go and figure
that
one out. You
that's
can't
for
drop a
another
dime
day.
and not expect to be asked about it. People
That's
be
for another
questioning.
time.
So that way, when you start questioning her in the comments, listen, McFly, you mentioned this thing. She better come on when this show premieres. You better have that answer. Okay, you got a homework.
No, Nintendo's a whole different ballpark to go into.
Yeah. But
So,
it was just fascinating what you just said, though, because I'm trying to understand what it had to be. You know how, like, because in I'll say in Asia or in the Orient, they invented the kind of like what do you call it? The abacus.
Yeah.
You know, the mathematical system and everything. So obviously, you know, like backgammon and dominoes, which was like mahjong, right? Were all kind of like games, that came out of Asia. So it would be really interesting to figure out the link. I think our time man is trying to say something.
It's the drawing.
Oh, we got another voice from heaven. That's not me. What about the drawing voice from heaven? My spirit guide. Maybe.
Japanese special drawing?
No, that's a different thing altogether.
Okay.
The spirit guides are wrong. This is why they don't talk.
Oh, wow.
Don't have nothing to offer. Okay, move on then.
Okay, so do you know anything about the Vectrex?
Vectrex.
Yeah, that was.
I know the name is being on like on a label or something like that, but
yeah, that was so back when so we're in '82 at the moment with ColecoVision, the Atari 5200 now, and then there was the Vectrex.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's ever seen what a Vectrex looks like, but if you have, it's one of the strangest looking systems around. It looks like an old telly, a vertical old telly.
Oh yes, I have punched it up, and we'll be posting that picture while you talk about it. So just keep talking about it.
Yeah, it looks like a vertical TV.
Oh my God! It also looks like one of those old arcade games.
Yeah, that was the point of it. The whole thing with the Vectrex.
So you mean for your home?
Yeah.
They would give you a big arcade game.
No. If you see the picture of it,
I'm looking at the picture.
Yeah, that was the console. That telly.
Yeah.
Is the console, and the controllers are built in. The difference with the Vectrex, however, was that it used lines instead of single pixels, so the graphics look way smoother on it. And if you ever play it now, the graphics do not look like they come from 1982. I don't think they look like they come from 1982. They do look like they're straight off the arcade machine right into your home.
Yeah, it does look like having an arcade machine in your home. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, the picture I'm looking at here looks like asteroids.
Yeah.
Tron seemed to have had one. It looks like Digger, that dig out thing, the maze.
It's a pretty cool system.
It looks pretty cool. I will be honest. I'm from this time period. I never seen it.
Now, a lot of
Maybe
people
I
don't
was
know
just
that.
not that rich, and I am from home.
Like the system itself was just really expensive. That's why it didn't
Yeah,
sell well.
that's
It wasn't
why I would never have
it was
seen
too
it.
expensive.
Yeah, never would have seen it
Massive,
unless my cousin Harry would have robbed somebody's house, but not in our neighborhood because nobody in our neighborhood could probably afford it. So, like, how long did they last though?
I think
Because it does say
Vectrex-
Vectrex arcade system. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they lasted very long. I think they only lasted a couple of years.
Wow.
So-
Okay, a couple of years in the suburbs. Right, cool. But still,
So they were like the main three at the time. However, in the background you had a load of other unlicensed, unofficial consoles going on, and that is what was really generating
it's just because
this.
it crashed because
Yeah,
it's like
there's
too
just
many
too
people
much.
wanted their own version of the same thing.
And obviously, if you're not paying the if you're not paying the programmers and stuff, they're gonna give it to someone who's gonna pay them more. And
Don't
like,
be just taking my cartridge, putting it in your game.
but the big thing was that there was games that were being sold originally for things like $20-$30, now $4 in bins, massive bins that couldn't get rid of the amount of video games that they had. There was too many, and
Back in the
people
trash, though.
were buying them, and they were being really rushed, poorly made. They were like, there was not enough information about them at the time and stuff like this. And you can buy some really jarred consoles from that time as well. I've got a couple of them myself.
Wow.
Like.
What about in television?
That was the first Coleco,
Was
wasn't
it?
I think in television was. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I just came up on the thing and I just remembered the name.
Oh, it is an interesting fact. Coleco came from 1939.
What? See, what's up, McFly? I don't understand. We didn't even have TV in 1939. Don't you remember the World's Fair?
Well, it wasn't. They weren't like a console company first. It was the Connecticut Leather Company.
Connecticut. Wait, say that again. The Connecticut Leather Company?
Yes.
I'm punching that up.
That's what I thought when I saw it as well. I was like, wow.
Wait, the Connecticut, so that's in Connecticut. This is kind of like that new series, The Umbrella Academy. You know?
Oh, yeah.
No, and everything, but so it actually exists. The Connecticut Leather Company. Oh my! I will put up a picture, people. Don't worry about it. This is funny, and it does say they award the Purkees. Guess what? I don't know if you know this. So obviously, the Connecticut Leather Company. If you take the CO, the LE, and the CO, that's how you get Coleco.
Another one I found out was Sega. Sega was originally called Service Games. Sega.
Oh,
that blew
thank
my
God.
mind.
Where does this come from? Oh man, this is amazing.
That actually blew my mind.
Oh man, my mind's blown already, girl. Coleco just thought, hey, cool weird name, but it's just an acronym for the Connecticut Leather. What do you know what the? I'm looking at it and I'm punching up a picture of this. Right? They got these old style trucks. Did they just were they just a leather company?
I think they were, to be honest, at the beginning. It seems that way from what I can gather. Yeah, it was just a leather company.
Maybe Dad's son moved into games.
Maybe.
Oh wow, this is funny. This is entertaining. All right, go ahead, move on. We're probably coming down to the end, or as someone would say, a train is coming into the station, or maybe for us it'll be a starship. It's coming into the loading dock.
Oh yeah.
Starship coming into the loading day, Captain.
Spaceships coming to take you home.
All right, so where are we at now?
Now we're just around sort of the end. So.
Damn, that went by quick.
It crashed. The market kind of fell. People didn't want home gaming anymore. It was, it was like awful. It's like, no, I'm just getting the same crap that I get if I bought this, and I waste the money essentially. It's people going back into arcades and stuff like that.
And also too is what you may not know, but might be interesting in your research is that it sounds like around this time, you're moving in, not in '85, but maybe like around 80 maybe yeah, before '85. Okay, forget it. I was thinking about the Wameco home theater, about how we used to have cable came alive in the '80s. So, I think people were watching more things than games.
Yeah, probably.
You know.
Well, it wasn't worth playing the games at the time anyway, so.
Yeah. Go outside, kid.
So this is around the time when Coleco went bust, which is a sad day. It actually had a rebirth kind of thing in 2005. They are still a company now, but
Oh right, are they? The Connecticut Leather Company came back.
Yeah, they went bust back in the day, which is pretty sad. Like, and Atari was sold and split into separate divisions, and Atari did try to make a comeback with like the Atari Jaguar and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
When
was that?
The Jaguar was much later. I think the Jaguar was in the 90s. That crashed and burned as well. Wasn't good. And then they sold Atari.
Like Missile Command. Forget about it.
So yeah, they sold themselves to, I think it was a Laserdisc company.
Probably.
And
Laserdisc, yeah, it sounds like time.
They went out of business as well, and now
of course,
Atari's like they're split into divisions. So we still get games from Atari, but Atari aren't really around anymore, which is actually really sad because they were one of the starts. It's actually like it's sad seeing them
you haven't
go.
touched upon how was Atari the first company that added the whole laser guns?
No, the laser guns was later on.
No, but I mean, I remember having an Atari laser gun, like a light gun.
Yeah, they might have been for maybe the 72.
Oh yeah.
Or the 52.
I mean, it's just terrible, you know, giving a kid a gun in the neighborhood I'm from, right?
There was a laser gun for the NES, which was a big selling point for them too, which you could play Duck Hunt with.
Duck Hunt, of course, man. Shoot ducks. That's what you're gonna do.
So yeah, like Atari, they're out the game. Coleco are out the game. The whole kind of gaming market, which was in the USA, now shifted over to Japan.
Right.
And that is when, in 1985, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out, and that was I consider that the saving grace of the video game market. To this day, I think it was carried on the shoulders of Nintendo there.
Yeah.
And they saved it.
So I think where you can end this is where 95.
Yeah, we're at 95 now.
So
no, we're at 85 now, sorry.
Yeah, you're at 85, but I mean, I think you can end this whole journey with 95 and then maybe come back next week and talk about 95. So tell us what happened in 95.
In 95?
Yeah.
Ooh, so around 1995, we've got Sega in the game.
Oh, okay, I didn't mean that. I meant Pokemon.
Oh, you want to know Pokemon?
I don't want to know Pokemon, but I'm just trying to say that is the next legend because from there
Pokemon's
brings us
definitely
to now. So that's what I meant is like.
So yeah, because that was the start. Like the NES was the start of say like 16-bit gaming sort of thing, and then obviously we had the Master System, and then the Super Nintendo and the Genesis,
right.
And then it just keeps kind of building up until we get to the N64, which was the next massive breakthrough for Nintendo, along with the Game Boy.
And when was that?
The N64 was 96, and the Game Boy was 89.
Yeah.
And the Game Boy was a huge success for them as well.
Yeah. I had my Game Boy story, So then came Pokemon.
Pokemon was 96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything, because we did a show on Pokemon Green and all of that other kind of stuff, and we did a whole kind of like legend of that. So that's what I just meant, kind of like bringing everything together in Games Mania. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's a fascinating.
The Pokemon franchise was a massive like pull through as well. It was they'd already broken the market in Japan. Yeah. All they had to do was move that market to America, and bam, worldwide phenomenon to this day.
You know, that's American suckers, boy. We're like children of P.T. Barnum. You know what I mean? She says who? Anyway. So I guess we, like close it out then there, McFly,
So yeah, we've finished here with the Nintendo Entertainment System, the saving grace of the video game industry, as I like to see it. So yeah, we'll pick up from there next time. Yeah.
So thanks there, Hitchhiker, for joining me here on the show.
So yeah, thanks Chase as well.
already have to thank myself. Seriously. All right. Well, I would like to thank you, there, McFly. I think this has been very entertaining. I hope that you've gotten over your nerves because, you know, this was really, you blew my mind several different ways from Sunday. Connecticut Leather Company. I'm going to remember that forever.
It's crazy known.
Yeah, and you know, I think you will be fantastic in continuing on doing Games Mania. So, want to thank you. So, like, be kind, rewind. Thank this lovely young lady, Erin, for her first show at Games Mania.
Thanks for having me as well.
All right, so the way we close it out is we say,
Game on.